they were just trying to hear the play, remember what they were taught in the meeting, and then go out and attempt to execute it. Yesterday, they'd already ran those plays. They've already been, blocked live bodies and understand what short yardage is all about. So that allows us to get better quicker. That's exciting for me. I think defensively we're doing a really nice job in the secondary. I think they really are communicating better than we've ever had. It's fun to see Chucky Williams back there, bigger and stronger and confident. And there'll be some good competition at the corners, so that'll make everybody better. And, the D front is going to be very strong and physical. We do have to replace a guy inside like Rankins who could stop the run and rush the passer, and we'll see who can do that. It's probably going to have to be more than one guy to do it. We're really strong on the edges. Monte Field's completely healthy now and in good shape. Before we started the first practice, I asked him if he was going to throw up today like last year, and he said, "No, Coach, I will not do that." So that's good to see that he's in that good a shape, and it'll be easier for him to get better and be prepared for the first game because he's been through all the conditioning and all the hard work. So with that, I'll just open up for questions.
What percent was Fields last year for the first half of the season?
It's hard to put a percentage on it, but he got really sore in practice. His body hadn't been through that. Besides being out of shape, as far as his wind and conditioning went, his body was out of shape. One day his legs would be sore, the next day his back, the next day his shoulders. So it was really hard. I can't put a percentage on it, but he certainly was a different player the last part of the season when he was in condition. I think early in the year, though, Todd did a good job of substituting him in and out, even in practice. Of understanding that he's out of condition, so he needs to find a way to get some production in practice and get better without completely, injuring him.
What are some of the things you want to see over the next 26 days from where the team is now to where you want it to be for the other one?
Yeah, we got to just continue to work on execution and, offensively, being precise in our passing game, making sure that all 11 guys understand that the protection is on them. The receivers being exactly where you need to be, the quarterback being able to adjust protections, backs and tight ends either affecting the routes, catching the ball, or protecting, and our O-line communicating and working together, which we're way ahead of than we were last year. That's a really good thing. Defensively, we got to continue to do what we do, is stop the run and hit the quarterback, create turnovers. I think that's what's been so great about our defense the last couple of years. We stop the run, and then we hit, harass, and sack the quarterback, which creates turnovers. So we got to understand how it all works together.
After 3 days with Lamar, including yesterday with pads, do you like his progression for 3 days as far as being a leader and his throws are and back?
Yeah, he definitely has an understanding of what's going on and what we're doing offensively. I was just down on the West End talking, and a year ago at this time, he didn't really know the play. You give him a play and he would drop back and now you give him a play and he pictures it in his mind. He knows exactly where the receivers are going to be. He understands, where it's at. And that, to me, that's the number one thing for a quarterback, is you're able to picture the play in your mind. Now it just comes down to distributing the ball off the defense. And, he's doing a good job of that for the most part. He's got to continue to just be patient and take the reads and challenge himself to make some throws. If you don't challenge yourself in practice, whether I can fit the ball in there, and if you don't have some balls intercepted in practice, you never know, what my limitations are or aren't. So we've got to understand that we give him some help in challenging himself to make that throw. Even sometimes we say, pull the string, you can make that throw, just to see if he can or can't. So he's got to continue to work hard on that.
What do you think of all the expectations on Lamar, all ACC and so on? How he'll handle that? How that might affect him?
I don't really know about those. You know. I mean, I don't know the expectations on all ACC and all that. What we got to do with Lamar is, and everybody else on our team, is worry about getting better. You know, come out today and practice and get better and improve. And you know, every quarterback needs to have confidence, needs to want to compete, needs to want to be the best in the country at what they do. But you do it by working hard and outworking people and focusing and concentrating. So, you know, I've been a guy that's always embraced high expectations. I want players to want to be the best in the country at what they do, and you know, work hard for the details of their position that gives them an opportunity to be the number one. And I remember Elvis Dumerville when he walked into my office and said, "Coach, you're going to see a different guy this year. I'm going to be the best there is." And he sure did. He led the country in sacks. And you know, so I want them to want that, but they got to keep it all in perspective. That clock is cheap. It's a show me world. So you got to come out and show me.
Coach, how many times in your career have you played a quarterback that, as you said, didn't really know the play? Somebody that inexperienced, as you chose to do last year.
Once. And that's enough. Once is enough. You know, there's no question about that. But you know, by the time we got to the Auburn game, we had a short list of what we believed he could do. So, you know, you could kind of see in the Auburn game that the offense changed a little bit. And when he was in there, it was not very expanded, but he did what he did know. He did really well.
He's obviously a gifted runner. And how do you handle it with him to know when it's time to run? Is it like you look for your first couple of reads and then go to see if there's freedom to improvise? How are you working with him on that, staying in the pocket a little bit?
Yeah, we're working hard at him being a passer. You know, he's got to be able to keep his focus downfield, go through progressions, know where the check down is. But he's got great instincts. He knows by watching some of the video from last year, there was times he made the line's job more difficult by not sitting in the pocket and understanding the pocket. But he's going to be able to use his instincts and be able to go, and I'm not going to hold any reins on him. But we don't really use the term freedom. You know, it's the freedom to do exactly what we tell him.
Bobby, with as many young guys as you played last year, what did you learn about them going through? Because that 0-3 start, you've never been through anything like that, and you come out on the other end of it as impressively as you did.
Yeah, learning's hard on, losing's hard on everybody. You know, it's hard on our wives, our kids. You know, you wouldn't even know how hard it is on our kids. So it's no fun. I was really impressed at the fact that our guys just kept working. You know, that they did have a positive attitude towards practice, and the leadership, most of them were juniors, but the leadership, you know, continued to pull the team together, not separate the team. And then you get better and better as the year goes on, and you finish strong. We're still going to have to make sure we do a great job this year of getting better as the year goes on and developing guys. And you know, I tell the story all the time to our team about, like, the freshmen yesterday after practice is you got to work hard, get better each day. You've got to have guys that contribute hard on special teams early in the year, want to be a starter by mid to late year. 2 years ago, we're in the first few practices, and Kyle Bolin gets 0 reps, none. You know, some of it was due to an injury, but he didn't get any reps. By the end of the year, he brought us back and helped us beat Kentucky in the last game of the season. So that's what is about development and bringing guys along as the year goes on. And you know, that's what our staff needs to do, is keep working hard with each player, and they need to develop and get better, you know, each week.
Do you have an update on
I think he's in his car. He was cleared yesterday, and he should be here sometime late this afternoon.
Coach, great programs have great depth. You have a lot of interchangeable parts. Can you talk a little bit about how you feel about your depth chart and how you feel about that second, third, fourth guy if you have to bring them in?
Yeah, I feel good about where we're at now. I think that's one of the advantages of having so many returners is we have more depth. We have competition in practice that makes the 1 and the 2 better. Each guy's trying to become the number 1 or hold that spot, and they understand they have to work hard in practice each day, and that's really how you get a lot better. Most of our games will be won or lost in the fourth quarter, so you have to have depth and you have to be in great condition. So we're going to have to be able to rotate guys in there and make plays when they get in there, and there's no question we're a lot better right now than we were a year ago at that.
How's the kicking and punting competition going?
It's going good. I'm excited for it. It was a little bit split in practice because we had Johnson kick in the morning, or punt in the morning, and Lazuski punt or kick in the morning. Both of them are very talented. Austin, I think, will really be in the competition. He's a 2-step punter. He's got great hang time, and he showed that he can get the ball at the distance we want with that hang time. He just needs to do it at a consistent basis. But he doesn't have a lot of movements in his swing, so he'll get better. It's not like Fred's golf swing where it's all over the place. It's really consistent. So once you get consistent with it, you can hit the ball down the middle.
What are your expectations for
D'Angelo's a big part of our defense. First and foremost, he's just a great leader by example. He's a quiet guy. He was voted as team captain because of how hard he works and how much he cares and how great a teammate he is to everybody on the team. He's very, very strong and physical. I think what I was impressed with him, I'll go back to when I first got here. He was coming off an Achilles tendon. I couldn't believe how fast he was back from that. So he's extremely tough. And then last year, I thought he really improved his game from being a run stopper to being able to transition to pass rush. And so I think he'll keep improving on that. He's physical, he's big, he keeps our linebackers free. He also can get off a block and make tackles, but I think now he's better at transitioning to pass rush when it is a pass play on a rundown.
There was a time, I guess, when you would get freshmen on campus and just start coaching, and now how different is it? You get more information on them, how they learn, you evaluate them.
It's completely different, because in the old days they couldn't come to summer school unless they paid for it themselves. And then they would be here for 3 days, and you would practice for 3 days, and then the vets would come in, and immediately guys would be out of their comfort zone. They still go through it. They just do it in June now, not when you're trying to get ready for the first game. And they would drop balls and fall when they didn't fall, or drop a snap when they never dropped a snap. And then you would say, well, we're going to have to redshirt them. We can't get them ready, But now they've been here for 2 months. They've been around their teammates. They're back. They're in the comfort zone. They look around and say, I'm as good as these guys, and I can compete for this. And you're seeing throughout the entire country more freshmen playing simply because they've been here for 2 months.
Coach, it's still too early to talk redshirt?
Yeah, we don't really talk about redshirt. I want them all to compete to play, and whether that's to play early in special teams or get in the depth and play. Yeah, we don't really talk to them at all about redshirting. There'll be a decision we make sometime after the 15th to the 20th practice on some guys. But it's something that even when you recruit a guy, you want them to have the idea in their mind that they're going to come in and play. So in the off season, they study the playbook you send them. They work out on Friday afternoon because they're getting ready to play as opposed to heading to the beach. So that's one of the things you really wanted them to be motivated to come in and play.
Coach, you mentioned player development, and I wonder about, and I'm not going to pronounce this correctly, Tobijah Hughley. How would you describe his journey from walk-on to, I guess he's one of your captains?
Tobijah Hughley. It's been pretty amazing. We were really struggling our first spring here offensively. We decided to throw him in there with the ones and move Jake Smith